Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the finale of Ten Candles Reckoning. We have some returning faces and a whole brand new beautiful face. And we're all ready to die tonight. Discuss the end of the world as we know it. But just for anybody who's joined for the first time, could we just maybe go around and let everybody know who you is? Start with Meri, because you're in the upper left-hand corner on my screen.
Oh, yay. Hello, I am Meri. I play Kadiana on the Spicy Dragon Roll stream every Friday at 8:30 on Twitch. I am a bard, and that's kind of the most interesting thing in my life right now, so.
Wonderful. And to her right, we have Hannah.
Hi guys, I'm Hannah. I don't really stream much unless Saevrick or Virus is streaming something, and then I usually tag along. I am a writer. I have a few things out in the world. That's kind of it. So we can move on to the next person.
Larry, would you like to go next?
Oh.
LD, Larry.
Oh, hey. I am RPGHour. I normally go by RPGHour on everything out in the verse. I am one of the heads of RPGHour podcast. I mostly edit Our Adventures, which is my wife's podcast, and we're about to put out a Star Wars D6 podcast called Star Wars Legacies.
Awesome. Is it like the West End Games Star Wars?
Yeah, there's some fans that did a reversion of the second edition. It's called Re-Up, revised and updated. And so it actually has where instead of your character just going to the game master as soon as they become a dark side user, you can actually continue playing as a dark side user. There's rules for it now. But they also streamlined some stuff. So
that's very cool. That's like nostalgia for me, because I learned a lot of stuff like in the Western Games universe kind of thing. So that's awesome. And to their right, Virus.
Hi, I'm Virus. I occasionally stream over on twitch.tv/Virus the Mad Bard. It is fairly rare right now, but hoping to fix that eventually. You can also find me on Twitter @Virus the Bard, and that's about all I really do. Occasionally I take song requests on there, because reasons.
Wonderful. So I guess we'll just go ahead and jump right into character creation. I know some of you are familiar. It's a pretty easy process, I think. But first we're going to talk about our virtues. So the person to our left on our overlay is going to be defining to our right is going to be defining our virtue. So in this case, Hannah, you're going to be defining Meri's. Meri going to be defining RPGHour's. RPGHour, you're going to be defining Viruses. And Virus, you're going to be defining Hannah's. So this will be a virtue. This will be something that tends to help more often than it hinders. Something you would aspire to, something that you might look up to in someone. And these aren't secrets, so by all means, if you want to throw it in your Zoom chat or just blurt it out to the ether, by all means. You all just let me know when you got that. Thank you. So what y'all get? Everything fun?
Quite possibly, yes.
So does everybody have their virtue? Okay.
Yes.
Senor.
Yes. Meri, you have yours? Okay. So we're going to go the opposite direction real quick, and we're going to define a vice for one of our lovely fellow players in this game. It's going to be something that you would never wish upon anybody, or something that might cause more problems than it solves. It might be an attribute of theirs. It could just be like they're an addict or they're crazy or whatever you want to have. So in this case, Meri, you're going to give one to Hannah. Hannah, you're going to give one to Virus. Virus, you're going to give one to RPG Hour. And RPG Hour, you're going to give one to Meri. This will be the Vice. Oh, Hannah looks like she's scheming.
I'm scared.
I'll be nicer to you than I was last time.
This time, please. Yes, please.
These settings where I put you all at were completely randomized, so I'm sorry, Virus. You just happened to take Shauna's spot.
It's
there.
okay.
You just happened to be, or Hannah would have done it, so just saying. So if we have our vice and virtues, maybe we can go around real quick and tell everybody what we got so far.
I do not have my vice.
Oh. Wait.
I think it's Meri.
No,
Is-
she
I'm
gave
just
me my
very
virtue.
slow. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Like, wait, who?
Awesome.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Fantastico. So what we get? I'm very curious.
I'll go. I'll start.
Thank you.
So my virtue is strength, and that's open to interpretation per virus. So I'm choosing physical strength.
Okay.
My vice is violent temper. So these two things fantastically go together.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Oh!
Very much so.
I suppose I will go next for the round part. My virtue is that I am a philanthropist. Very well-meaning. But my vice is that I am quick to anger.
Oh, Lord, yeah, two of them.
Okay, I'll go.
Okay.
I am very patient, but I am also very paranoid.
Oh, no.
I have a virtue of generous and a vice of addiction.
Oh. This is going to be a fun group.
Well, it's the end of the world, isn't it? I mean, we got to make it
Yeah.
interesting.
As we know it.
Exactly.
No.
The most likely people to survive to the end, right? Wonderful. So now we have our vice and virtues. Let's just talk a little about where we're going to be at in the world. Normally I'd say 10 days ago the world went dark, but it's been a little bit longer than that. It's been about 3 weeks since the world went dark. We all know that we lost all communication with each other. Power grid shut down, either from being overtaxed or other reasons. But there's no cell phone communication. Really the only kind of communication we have left right now is that by simple means, maybe radios, ham radios, AM channels. Seems to be the only thing that really still carries in the world. About 5 days ago, after the world went dark, they came. And thanks to the previous games, we have a little bit of an idea of what they are. These truths have carried over. I posted them in Twitter, but for 1 second we'll go over those. We know they are attracted to the smell of blood. We also know that they can mimic voices that they've heard, but often take the tone of children. And we also know that they can be riders upon pale horses. So we'll have to keep that in mind as we tell our story tonight. But you all have found yourself out in the desert, just outside the city of Las Vegas, or at least what remains of it. Earthquakes have shattered the lands and the buildings have toppled. The bright lights that once were on the strip are now lay barren and dark. Wherever you all hold up for the time being, where do you think would be a good place?
Caesar's fucking palace.
Sounds wonderful.
Very
Let's see.
Victus.
Very Victus. There has been some radio chatter in the last few days just outside of, seems to be coming from the Nellis Air Force base, which is just outside the city proper. Seems there's talk of this government facility that still has some means of power. Might be something to check out. You also have heard that most of the military is now disrupted and gone or lost. And there's a few that still inhabit this installation, asking for survivors to help hold back the threat of them. Now we have some idea of your vices and your virtues and where we're going to begin at. Let's just take just a moment to think about our character. A name, maybe an occupation, maybe a quick physical description if you feel it's necessary. If you walked into a room, what would somebody notice about you first? Anything that you might think that's important about your character. While you do that, I'm going to begin lighting some candles. Whenever you've come up with something, you can feel free to go ahead and share it.
I am Dr. Helena Schwarzenbacher-Newman. I am a 47-year-old doctor of musicology. I have black hair, gray eyes, and I am very tall.
Dr. Helena is all you're going to get out of me from that whole name. You're a doctor of what?
Musicology.
Musicology. Wonderful.
I suppose I shall go,
Wonderful.
because mine is basically done. I will be doing Thomas Pendleton. I'm a bit old, around 65. Very, very nice brown tweed suit. Unfortunately, my hair is graying out, but such is life.
Does Thomas Pendleton do anything or did anything?
Well, before all of this happened, I was running security for one of the casinos.
Oh.
But that's kind of irrelevant now.
Wonderful. We have Hannah or RPGHour. Either one of you want to go next?
I'll go.
Okay, cool.
I am Rory Gween, scrawny, but otherwise not much noticeable about my features. Brown eyes, brown hair. Often have a cigarette in my hands if I can still find one. Former pro poker player. The only thing that is noticeable about me is a leather bag, and scuffed leather boots.
Nice. Dig it. Dig it. What about you, Hannah?
Hi, y'all. My name's Leo Clutterbucket. I'm a news
What?
anchor. Stop. It's real.
Did you say Leah or Leo?
Leo.
Leo?
My name is Leo Clutterbucket. I'm
Yeah.
a news anchor from West Virginia. I
Motherfucker.
am just for you. I am here in Las Vegas covering the girls softball tournament because one of our teams made it, and so that's why I'm in Vegas. It's my first time.
Well.
In my early 30s. I'm athletic, but about a week ago I got hurt, so I've got my arm in a sling. So
I fucking hate you so much right now.
I love it. Don't ever change.
Oh, Lord. My name's Leah Clutterbucket.
I also sell Mary Kay on the weekend, but I didn't. That's all.
Oh, God. Wonderful.
I think I was going to do anything less than that for our final 10 candles, Josh. Come on now.
Killing me. Killing
Okay,
me.
I got stuck with Deckard Cain.
Yeah, I gathered that too when you were talking about him. Oh, God, where am I at? I don't know where I'm at in my notes right now. Okay.
We've distracted the GM. We have succeeded.
You have succeeded.
I'm sorry.
Mission
Okay.
accomplished.
We're going to take a moment to write about our moment. A moment is a time that you want to accomplish. It's something you want to accomplish or create in the story itself. It should be something that's potentially achievable, but also potentially something you can fail. An example would be like, I will find hope when, and then when you have a moment of prayer at a church, or when I find out whether one of my siblings is living or dead. It might be something like, I'll find hope when one of them lies dead before me. So just take a moment to think about what would give your character hope in the darkest times. And this is going to be for you, so you decide your own based on the character that you've come up with. If you're having any issues, let me know. We can definitely talk about it as a group. And don't get like too crazy, like, you know, I'll find hope when we make it to Alaska or something like that, because it's probably not going to happen.
Damn.
But these are important as a group, so we all know what each other's hopes are, so we can start steering the story in that direction to try to fulfill those moments with each other. You're fine, Hannah. Do we all have a moment in mind? Does anybody need help defining their moment or extrapolating it in some way?
I am currently okay.
Who am I? Who are
Stay
you?
a while and listen.
RPGHour, what's your character's name?
Rory Gween.
Rory. Okay.
So we have Thomas and Rory and Dr. Helena and Hannah's character.
Leah Scuttlebucket.
Did you say
Leah Clutterbucket.
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 Scuttlebucket would have been so much better. I'll admit that.
I am not that smart. Okay. Clutterbucket is from Girl Meets World. It's a reference to that. So sorry, it was an homage.
It's all good. So we have our hopes.
It also sounded very West Virginian. So I mean,
Yes, I know the whole family of Clutterbuckets. And I've never heard a news anchor ever talk like that, funnily enough.
Just haven't been far enough south.
Well, not in this area, at least. So, Virus, do you have a hope? You have a dream? Something to latch onto?
I will find hope when I find out if my wife is alive or dead.
Wonderful. About you, Leia?
you're talking to me.
Yeah.
Leah will find hope when she hears the voice of God in prayer.
Oh, God. All the stereotypes. Okay, how about you, Rory? You got something for me?
One final proper game of poker.
Like it. Proper game of poker. Love it. How about you, Helena?
Like Thomas, I came to Las Vegas to marry the man of my dreams, and we were separated. So I would like to know if he has survived or not, so that I can celebrate or mourn as appropriate.
Wonderful. Love it. Okay, where are we at in my notes now? I know what I'm doing. Okay, so now we come to another fun part where we're going to start defining brinks for our characters. A brink is going to be something that you have seen another character do in their darkest moment. Something that they did at their most lowest and desperate time. In this case, this is going to be kept private between you and the other person. Just know that you and one other person are going to know the deplorable, despicable thing that you've done. So that makes it a little bit more interesting. But, as always, my favorite part of all this is that I also get to participate in the brink process. So for our sake right now, Meri, you're going to define Hannah's brink. Hannah, you're going to define something about them to me. So it's going to be some sort of trait or anything that's important about them, maybe the way they act or the way they smell or anything. As long as it's not something that is a hindrance, something that makes them weak, because we know that they only have one weakness, and that is the dark. Virus. The light, thank you. I wouldn't understand this game by now, but I don't. So, Virus, in this case, I get to define the brink for your character. Virus, you get to define a link for RPGHour. In RPGHour, you get to define Meri's brink. If you have any issues of what this might be, or need an idea, just hit me up privately and we can talk about it. I've sent yours to you.
I had to make it up to you because I'm going to be playing this horrible character in this entire game, and you're going to despise me. So
Yeah.
I had to at least make it up to you.
We'll just make all of your rolls potentially lethal. That's all.
Motherfucker.
I'm looking for a flashlight. Well, you found rebarb and went through your neck. I'm gonna light some candles while you guys are figuring these out. Was that helpful, Virus?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sounds like something potentially that could be truthful. Are we all happy with what we got? Yeah. Anybody need more time? No? Just give me a thumbs up if you're good to go then. Got 2, 3, 4. Wonderful. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so I guess we'll go into a quick rules recap in case somebody needs to know about it or go over it again and refresh the mind. I know, Virus, you got thrown into this last second, so.
I vaguely remember how this works.
Okay, well, this is a game about storytelling, and I'm going to help set up the stage, but you all are going to be as responsible as I am for the flow of the narrative of the story. And there's any time that there's a potential failure or a potential for the story to be furthered along, you may be asked to roll to resolve conflict. The number of dice that are going to be rolled is going to be equal to the number of candles lit. So at the beginning of the game, you're going to have a pool of 10d6 that you all will share amongst you. At any time that you roll a 6 on the conflict, you will succeed, and you will get to narrate the outcome of that event fully. It's yours. You get to own that. However, any ones that you roll will be set aside and will be diminished from the pool altogether for that scene. Scenes, there's going to be 10 of them, as equal to the number of candles lit, obviously. Where else can we go with this? But if you make a conflict roll and you roll no 6s and no 1s, then that is going to be an outright failure, and we're going to end the scene, darken a candle, and we'll discuss some truths about our story. And we can go over the truths when it comes to that point. However, at any time that you do roll 1s, either you just like to re-roll one of the ones because you have a small dice pool, or if you roll a bunch of them at one time, even if you've succeeded the roll and you want to re-roll them just to keep them to yourselves, you may burn a trait. You may burn one of your vices or your virtues to have a chance to re-roll those ones and potentially keep them. So that is important, and keep hold of that. I had you all define a moment for your character, and what that is going to allow you to do is live out your moment in the story. If you so choose to live out that moment, you will make a conflict roll. If you succeed on that roll, then you will gain a hope die. A 6-sided die that is just for you, just for your rolls, and they will succeed on 5 or 6. So they're a little bit special. And finally, that's going to bring us to the last card that you all have, which is your Brinks. Now, Brinks let you re-roll the entire roll, but we have to make sure that they're going to be applicable to the scene that you're in. And that's the same for your vices and your virtues. You have to use them in a narrative way that makes sense to allow yourselves to burn them. Brinks are a little bit more special, though, that if you use it and you succeed, well, you get to keep it. Potentially use it again later on down the line. However, if you do fail it, and we burn a candle, and you lose any hope dice that you might have obtained during the course of the story. Now that you know what your 4 cards do, we're going to make stacks. So we get to arrange these 4 items in any order that you want, except for the brink, which must always be on the bottom. You can only activate any moment and or trait as long as the card on top of your stack So it doesn't matter if your moment might be lived out at this time. If it's not on the top of the stack, you can't use it. So it's important to layer those cards in a way that you see fit. That might be more appropriate. I might say in Rory's case, maybe his moment might be top because you guys are in a casino. Maybe that's something you all want to do before you leave. You know, have one last poker game before you head out into the darkness. Not necessary, but so once you guys get your stacks aligned, or if you need more further clarification on the rules on that, because I'm terrible at explaining things, just let me know. And while you do that, I'm going to light 3 more candles. And then we'll be damn near ready to begin. Everybody have their stacks arranged? Wonderful. So before we start off in the City of Sin, we're going to have your characters go one by one and tell or record their final message to the world. So, if you read the primer that I sent out, there was an example at the very beginning of a sample message. You don't have to, of course, go into that depth of detail, of course, but just think of something about your character and what they might say as their final message to the world before they depart into the darkness once more. And if someone's feeling froggy and jumps right in it, go ahead and go and say it.
When I came here, it was for a happy moment. But now I don't know if that happiness will ever come again. I only hope that it does. If it doesn't, this is my goodbye. And I hope to find happiness where I end up.
Wonderful.
Leo's final message would be something like, I have to believe that this is for a reason, and that whatever reason God had for doing this, for allowing this, is valid, and that I just don't understand. But I wish I did. So I choose to believe that this is still the work of God, and that God too has not died.
Never done this before. Buddha, God, Allah, flying spaghetti monster. If anybody's out there, just send me somebody with a carton of cigarettes and knows how to play poker. Just one last time. I don't know what's going on. I just need a cigarette, a drink, and a game of poker. Maybe some money on the line. Or some water. Water's more precious now. But yeah. Thanks. Peace. I don't know how to end these things. Whoever's out there, thanks.
Delilah, if you find this, I'm sorry, because it means that I failed to find you. I hope that in any semblance of what can be left of this world, that you can find happiness and peace.
Okay. And with that, we'll light our last candle, and we will jump into Caesar's palace. What remains of it. This twisted structure of torn walls and brick, concrete, machines that once were alive with lights and wonderful sounds that filled the area are now laid dormant and silent. And what little bit of light that you have managed to gather here, whether it be candles or flashlights, whatever it is, it's in limited supply and won't last forever, of course. Radio still hums that same message, repeated every 20 to 30 minutes or so. Seems to be recorded. It's just a constant reminder of hope or hopelessness, however you want to look at it. And every shadow cast by the light around you makes you tense up, because you never know if you're alone or one of them has come in. So what are you all doing now, sitting in the guts of this building, or what remains of it?
Leo is most likely sitting against a wall. If there's a couch or something that's still relatively intact, sitting on it, reading one of those Gideon Bibles that are always in hotels, and praying.
Searching for a pack of cigarettes and a drink in the bar, if there's anything at all left.
Okay. Would you like to make me a roll to see if you can find something like that?
No sixes.
Any ones?
1-1.
Okay. I don't know what you have on top. I don't know if you want to try to re-roll it by burning a trait, or if you just like to darken a candle, we can move on.
I don't want to.
You don't have to by any means. We're very early in the game, so.
I know.
This might be a short session for this.
I'll take the candle option.
Okay. So, we will...
I think that's totally a valid thing. I'm just reacting.
Absolutely. Okay. We are down to 9 candles. So, now is the time to establish some truths about our story tonight. They can be used to further the story along, or say something new about the environment around us, or even something about them. Again, so long as it's something that's a weakness. We're going to tell a number of truths that are equal to the number of candles that are lit currently, which is 9. First truth is always going to be spoken by me. It doesn't count towards your total, though, and that is, the world is dark. So we're going to go around the table, and we're going to tell some truths until we get to our last truth, which is going to be shared by you all, and that is going to be, and we are alive. In this case, the person that failed the roll, looking for his whiskey and cigarettes, Rory, would you like to tell the first truth of tonight's session?
Oh. I don't know if this is enough, but basically, there's not enough booze left in this world. I don't know that I'll hang on much longer myself.
So you have like this feeling of hopelessness based on this booze, which I'm assuming is probably playing into your vice a little bit here, that addiction part. So you are suffering heavily from your addiction currently. That is true. Lack of alcohol. Wonderful. Meri, what is our second truth?
Dr. Helena has one of the last bottles of vodka in her backpack right now.
Okay. Vodka in the backpack. Wonderful. Anna, our third truth.
Can I do a truth for them, or does this have to be in? Does it matter?
You can do anything you'd like to, pretty much. You can say it they're outside
I like
waiting to
that
get
answer.
in right now, so.
Like that answer a lot. We are not alone.
We are not alone. And our fourth truth. I'm going to give in a little bit to Rory by saying that while they didn't find the alcohol, they did find one pack of Camel cigarettes nestled just under it. Cigarettes were found. Virus?
There is still an undamaged deck of playing cards.
Deck of cards. Wonderful. RPG Hour, back to you one more time. One more truth for us, if you don't mind.
The gentle hum inside of what is left of the AC system isn't the AC that we would love it to be.
Like it. Oh, Meri.
The hum is not them.
The hum is not them. Meri coming through with the save at the end there. Hannah.
Running with a few different ideas here. Did you say you found an unopened or an open pack of cigarettes?
I just said a pack of cigarettes.
Have we qualified them in any other way?
Just that they're Camels, that's all.
Oh.
Sponsor.
I'm not going to do it. Okay. I'm not going to do that. I was going to say something like the camels are laced with something, but I'm not going to do that. Because that's so Vegas. Instead, I'm going to say that every time Leo prays, what she would normally think of being like God answering her, or like her interpretation of God answering her, has been replaced with this weird poetic sound that she's never heard before.
Interesting. Poetic chants. You are not going crazy. You are not going crazy. And our ninth and final truth.
And we are alive.
And we
And we are alive.
Wonderful. So, Rory, you have gone to this bar area in search of something. Hopefully, something to calm the shaking, calm the headaches in the mornings. And I would say you probably get a little flustered, maybe flip a table or something, just in agony and anger. And as you look down at your feet, you see a pack of cigarettes just poked at the end of your toe. This moment of joy and elation rolling over you.
I'll pocket them for now, but I am really hoping to find some booze. The cigarettes will just be something to help tide me over if I can't find something at all in this place.
Okay. Wonderful. Anybody else doing anything?
Thomas will probably be sorting out how much water we have and trying to figure out rationing numbers.
Okay, so you're going to try to figure out how much water you have. So let's see what's spoiled and what's not spoiled, or...
Food and
Whatever.
water, yes.
Okay.
What's not spoiled, what's...
You have 9 dice to let me know what's going on. And since you guys lost a die for losing a candle, that's going to go to me. And I get to roll this die. And if I meet or exceed either or successes, I get to tell what happens. That face says a lot.
It says a lot. So there are no 6s, and there are no 1s. I'm sorry.
This is going to be a quick game, I think.
Oh my god!
I should know better. I should just let you roll everything. It worked so well last time.
These things are true. The world is dark. Virus. Our first truth.
We have enough water for roughly 2 days between the 4 of us left.
2 days. Always good to have 2 days worth of water in the desert. Rory?
I don't want to tell anybody about the bottle of water and the MREs I have in my bag.
Oh, nice. Wonderful. Okay, Dr. Helena.
Well, Rory does have those cigarettes. He does not have a lighter.
No lighter for Rory. Okay. Leah, whatever you want to call yourself.
Leo.
Yeah.
Leo. Okay. It's not her truth. It's my truth. World building truth. The hum that is not them.
Mm-hmm.
You said the hum is not them already.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you what. Instead, Leo picks up the pack of cards that were found, opens them, and immediately starts to do like a gambler shuffle, almost kind of reflexively.
Okay. The humming in the AC sounds like a little girl humming Ring Around the Rosie. Virus.
The casino's vault hasn't been opened yet.
Okay. RPG Hour. Her seventh truth, please.
Um, the chat has me wanting to say something and I'm not going to say it. I keep looking over there and I'm like, no, don't go that direction. I'm going to go with there's a light on in another building that we can see.
Oh, cool. Light and energies building. I like that. And I guess this brings us to our final truth.
And we are alive.
Wonderful. So, Thomas, you're looking through your reserves, what you all have managed to gather in the time that you've been here, in what remains of Caesar's palace, and you realize you are in the desert with maybe a couple days worth of water left, enough to last you all that long. The food, on the other hand, is very scarce. If you ration it out just sparingly, you might last another 3 days, tops.
We've got to get moving.
I really think that's a bad idea.
I agree. I think that, in all honesty, we could play the odds a little bit here longer before we try to do anything else.
Tell me, what do you think is going to happen when we run out of food and water?
I'm not saying that we wait for that, but we can wait it out a little bit longer. I mean, who knows?
How
Maybe
long are you
there's-
suggesting?
Day and a half?
That would leave us about a half day's worth of water.
It's gonna be a half day's worth of water regardless of where we are.
Yes, but we might have better luck finding more water the longer that we have to procure it.
While I can understand that, if we take the water and supplies that we have out there, then anything out there is going to see that we have water and supplies and take it from us. We are more at risk if we are carrying this stuff with us.
I mean, what about the vault? What about the humming?
That humming is upsetting. And what of the vault?
It hasn't been open the entire time that I've been here, since this has all gone down.
How y'all even know that? Isn't the vault like under the casino, like in Ocean's 11 or whatever?
I'm sorry, what? Oceans? We're in the desert. There is no ocean here.
You have definitely never seen the full Dynamite, so I don't even know why I'm talking to you.
Regardless, are you suggesting we try to get in there for what purpose exactly?
I mean, money will probably be useless at this point.
Unfortunately.
Even if they had cool stuff like bear bonds and like artifacts and like stuff like that, I mean, you saw what happened at the end of Die Hard. Like they all died anyway. So like, why are we even talking about the vault? Why does that matter?
Well, Roy,
I was just thinking. Yeah, it was mostly personal curiosity. Just always wanted to get into that thing.
they are rather fascinating. Assuming that it would even work. Most of it's electronically locked now.
Well, as a security guard, you would know things like that.
Quite, but the problem then becomes there is no real electricity.
Probably means no way to unlock it.
I haven't gone to check. I've had no need to.
So, what about that generator that you have that's set up just for the vault?
I haven't gone to check.
I mean, if we could take that generator and power it something else, perhaps we could create more light.
I suppose we could give it a shot, although I am most certainly not an electrician.
Okay, a generator that is going to power a vault in a casino like Caesar's Palace is not going to be mobile. There's no, it's not going to be like a generator that you see next to somebody's house. Like, this thing is going to be massive. It's a huge infrastructure. Do you guys hear this little girl? Because, like, I swear to God, I'm hearing a child crying right now. And, like, or maybe it's not crying. I can't really tell. Do y'all hear this?
We hear it.
Maybe we should try and follow it. I mean, maybe it's another group of people. Maybe they've got more food, more water.
I'm down with that. I want to go check on the child. I just need to make sure kid's okay or not.
I suppose we should.
Verifying the health of the child is important.
So Leo's gonna head upstairs. Escalators are clearly not working, so she's just gonna like hop to it up the stairs, and head in the direction of some of the ballrooms, thinking that that's kind of the direction of this child. But it seems to be everywhere because it's in the AC system, right? So it has to be like everywhere all at once. If any of y'all hear it, you want to go a certain direction, just say something, because I'm confused. I don't know where this kid is coming from.
Does it appear to be getting louder or quieter when we go up?
It doesn't seem to be changing. That's the weird. Do you not hear it? I mean,
My hearing is not what it used to be.
I do not hear anything.
I mean, sure, I hear it, but I mean, it's not that loud.
okay, well, since we don't really have a good direction to go, you guys just want to go down and see if you can get into that vault, because you came up here for me because I thought this was important. We didn't find anything, so if you want to go downstairs, I'll go with y'all, and maybe I'll deal a card game for you or something.
Both of those sound like good ideas.
I suppose we should go and investigate the generator at the very least.
Are you able to deal cards with your arm like that?
My daddy was a championship poker player. After
So I'm thinking
yes,
that
yes, I
poker
can.
idea sounds like the best one right about now. I don't think there's anything else that we really need to.
Can't hear you, Hannah.
You're muted.
So if y'all just want to sit down on one of these tables here, I'll just go ahead and deal y'all out. What do you want to play? Texas Hold'em? What do y'all want to do?
Yes.
All right. So who's
Sure.
who's all playing here?
I will play.
I'll play. Why not?
Fantastic. All right, take your seats, and Leo will then start to deal you guys all a hand.
Is your moment on top, Rory? Is your moment on top?
Sorry. Yes, it is.
Would you like to attempt to live out your moment?
Sure. How do I do that again?
Okay, go ahead and roll the 8d6 that you guys have left right now.
And pray for a 6.
Because it's gone so well so far.
I've got 3 6s.
Okay. Did you get ones?
1.
Okay. So our dice pool is now down to 7. But, Rory, you get a hope die. So pick one of these d6s that's going to be yours for the rest of the game here. And that will succeed on a 5 or 6 anytime you roll it. So go ahead and, how does Rory feel, or just give me like a scene here of...
So in Rory's mind, this is flashing lights, an ESPN camera somewhere, non-reflective sunglasses. Everybody's playing, enjoying themselves, and then there's that snap back to reality as the game ends, and a high off of the play and the enjoyment of the game.
I like that. I feel like there'd like be a moment there where Rory forgot about all the pain in his stomach, the twisting of that want, that wanting to fulfill that need for alcohol, for all of it. Just in those few precious moments has gone away. And now that reality has begun to sink back in, there's that twisting feeling still grinding at you. The repaling of the power.
Well, that was fun and all, but Maybe we ought to go check on that generator.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that.
Who's leading this little expedition down?
I suppose that would be me, because I'd probably have the best idea.
Why don't you go ahead and roll me? Yep, 76 now. And let me know what we find down there.
So that is 2 6s and 4 1s.
Oh shit. Do you want to attempt, or can
I
you?
am uncertain how I can apply philanthropy to this.
Do you have any booze?
We have not determined that I have. There is no truth. So I'd say the most I have is access codes to the vault, technically, or knowledge of the sequence of unlocking it, which isn't going to help with that.
I mean, it could. Haven't you seen how Die Hard ends? Like, they have to cut the power, and that's what releases the last part of the vault.
I'm more meant for philanthropy's sake.
And I think that's quite generous of you to let us into a vault that we don't need to go into just to satisfy the whims of our compatriot here.
We're stretching. But is it a stretch
We are stretching. I think for the sake of our story, it might not be bad to go ahead and let that ride out. And yeah, I think you're down for 4 6-sided dice for the time being, unless you have a way to explain.
Oh, yeah, I can't think of any way to explain that on its own right now. Sorry, we're down to 3 dice right now.
Okay, so we're down to 3 dice, but you did succeed, so you have narrative control.
So, although the hallways to the vault are kind of shoddy and partially falling apart and busted, surprisingly, the actual vault itself seems in fairly good order. It even seems to have, like, sputtering power near it every so often. Possibly enough to actually get it open. Eventually. Well, would you look at that? It's kind of working. I suppose I should check on the system.
You know, since we've been down in these tunnels, I kind of hear her voice a little more.
Yes, I can actually hear her now too.
As can I.
I would imagine these tunnels are like a labyrinth almost under here, you know, with the wet cement floors from the being underground. Even out here in the desert, I imagine there's probably some moisture that's collected in this time here, even if it's from a broken water pipe or something, you know. But just resonating just on the edges. You hear that whimsical sort of sound of a child rehearsing these old nursery rhymes that they would have learned.
Thomas is going to go into, like, the security control room outside the vault that you would normally have, you know, like the like closed or closed circuit TVs and stuff like that that would have like vision of most of it. Obviously, most of them are kind of busted and not working. There does appear to be one that's actually looking inside the vault. Shall I roll to see what we find?
Yeah, I think we should. Yeah. I think you have 3 dice currently.
Yeah. Two ones, no six.
Can you think of a way to use philanthropy here?
Not without defining what's in that vault.
Well, if you think it's going to be pertinent, then I'll allow it.
So that's it. I will try, because if it's what I am wanting it to be,
Mhm.
then it would work out fairly appropriately for it.
Okay.
Okay. No dice still.
Alrighty then. So, these are getting hot. Ouch. 7 candles, 7 dice, and now 7 truths. These things are true. The world is dark. Virus, since you have failed your role, here's the first truth. And you could use this moment to have what you wanted.
There's a cache of food and water in the vault.
There's a case of food and water.
Well, a cache, like a
A cache. Okay.
yeah.
I would
cache,
say
sorry.
cache.
Uh,
You might be saying it correctly. I might not.
I don't know. Cache, cache.
Okay.
There's a stack pile of food and water in the vault.
There's food in there. All
There's
right.
food in them there vault.
RPGHour, would you like to give us our second truth?
Even though the AC is not running, it's almost feels like there's a breeze down here.
Okay. I like that. How about you, Meri? You got anything for us?
The nursery rhymes are growing louder.
Rhymes are growing louder. Hannah?
There is a sound of horses approaching outside.
Okay. I think to build upon actually a couple of these, I will say that there was a time that they had actually busted in down here, and there's a cavern now leading from down here within the vault to the outside world. Virus.
The sequence to disengage the locks is still working.
Okay. And that brings us to our final truth.
And we are alive.
And we are alive.
We are alive.
The way this dice rolling is, it won't be much longer.
Nope.
Okay. So,
Don't worry, guys. I'll make it a short session.
you're looking at this security monitor panel, and of course it would be attached to the backup generator of this place, because security is paramount given a casino. And as this generator, it flashes power, it's not continuous, it dims and grows and dims and grows, and you see this flashing monitor up inside the vault itself, and what you see is not just like cash and money and things placed to the side, but you see actually what appears to be a large amount of water and foodstuffs, potentially. Hard to tell. It's the monitor is so frizzy, but you managed to do catch that between the lines. And as the truths have said, the not only has the rhyming sounds grown louder around you, more cavernous, but this cool breeze seems to caress your skin and blow your hair back, should you have it.
Well then, I suppose that slightly solves our food and water problem, assuming that this still works. Clack, 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 clack. Ah, there we go. Of course the password would be the same. Nobody's been down here to change it. Whatever. Well, it's open.
Let's say you'd probably hear the sounds of the tumblers unlocking, these large steel rods moving from the walls themselves, and the clunk of the door partially coming ajar. And in that moment, you also hear the sounds of hoofs outside striking the streets, which is odd for you because you shouldn't be able to hear what's going on above the world. So far above you, it's light, but you can definitely hear it echoing through this labyrinth of tunnels around you.
Do we hear any other sounds other than the horse hooves?
Would you like to make me a roll and see
I would.
potentially what other terrors might be out here, or good
How many
things?
dice are we at right now? Are we at 7?
We are at 7
7.
dice.
7. Okay. 6. Two 6s and 2 1s.
Okay. Am I keeping these ones?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You have 1 narrative control.
We hear, to you guys, you may be hearing just this weird kind of chanting sound. To Leo, though, it's the sound that she's been hearing when she prays. So she's going to innately recognize it and respond accordingly.
How do you respond?
Leo's just going to set out in a dead run down a hallway or wherever the cavern is. She's just going to head in that direction. And as she shouts back to you as she runs, she's just going to say something like, "The Lord is showing me this way. This way, this way, this way." I'm just running away from you.
Well, I suppose we should, keep up after her.
Narratively, you don't have to. If you guys want to stay in and figure out what's going on in the vault, I think we could split. I don't think it would matter that
That's right.
much.
Thomas specifically is worried that, you might end up dying heading towards weird, unknown noise, and it's like, we need everyone that we can have that is competent alive.
But at the same time, if you do let her die, you've got one less person competing for your water and food resources, which might give you an extra day. So, I could imagine that there's a little bit of an internal battle there of hey, do we let the crazy religious fanatic die?
Fair.
I will be exploring the vault, making note of the food and water.
You know, so I'd say Thomas is kind of like he's going to be internally struggling for a minute.
Okay.
If she survives, she will probably be back. If she doesn't, then she was too weak to be with us.
Rory will grab a bottle of water and I'll be back, I think, I hope. And I run off into the darkness.
Like every good role-playing game, it's always best to split the party. So we'll handle Meri. Why don't you go ahead and give me a conflict roll and let us know just exactly what you can find in these stores. So I'll grab some narrative control. I might mix it up a little bit.
How many dice do we have right now?
5.
5, yay. One, 6, no ones.
1, 6, no ones. You have 1 narrative control, so
Dr. Helena slowly goes through the food supply. Most of it has to be cooked, which is unfortunate, but there are some cans of beans, some Chef Boyardee, because I suppose for some reason these chefs just want some canned ravioli instead of this fantastic Wagyu beef. There are some fruit that is on the verge of becoming rotten, but shouldn't give us food poisoning if we eat it. And half the cases of water are empty bottles that are waiting to be recycled, but the remainder are still drinkable.
okay.
And there is probably about 4 or 5 more days worth.
So it's a nice little supply that you've managed upon. Non-perishables and water, always good to have. Now we have our 2 running headlong into the darkness. I think, Hannah, since you're the one leading this, I want to know if you're heading towards them, or away from them, or what?
Towards them.
I think we'll let the dice decide where that's going to go.
Oh, shit. 5?
5.
One, 6,
Mhm.
and a 1.
Okay. So am I keeping that 1?
Sure.
Wonderful. Oh, I rolled a 1, a 2, and a 3, so you have 1 narrative control. Let me know what's going on here.
We are heading down a cavern. The one that has apparently been dug out of the side of Caesar's palace that approaches back up to the surface level. It is not. It may be at some point this was like a service entrance or something that has been destroyed, but the walls have taken some serious damage and it's not looking too hot. But the sound from the horses and the weird other noises are echoing from the street through the cavern, and so that's what I'm just chasing, is getting to the sounds.
Okay. So you rush through this mess of broken concrete and rebarb, doing your best to avoid any perils along your way. The sound of the humming grows quiet behind you as you leave it behind, and you feel the cold air of the desert begin to fully assault you. And Rory, you as well begin to feel the the, the, the chill begin to envelop you the further you run. Just hearing the footsteps ahead of you.
I do hope those are hers.
Do you say this out loud?
Yeah.
But I probably couldn't hear you, right?
Probably not.
Okay.
How far are you running? Clear out? Stopping? What?
Me?
No, I'm. Oh,
Yeah, Hannah.
I won't stop running until I hit the surface.
Okay. And then the same question, are you going to pursue her to the surface there, Rory?
um. I will pursue her as far as I can until if I see her exit to the surface, I'm going to turn around. I will call out to her, but that's it.
Okay. So we will say our West Virginia native has made herself onto the streets, this broken and cracked remnants of what the strip of Las Vegas would be. Under a starless, moonless sky. And you can hear the echoing of these horses in the distance, sort of bouncing off this ruined structures all around you. And this otherworldly, almost sounds like a hymn, like you would have heard in church, but in a tongue unlike any you've heard before. I would say as you're standing there looking around, you would hear Rory calling to you from the depth of the tunnel behind you.
Clutterbucket, come back.
I hear him. I hear him. I have to find out if that's God. God hasn't spoken to me in days, and I just hear the sound, and I think it's God.
God's dead. It's not what you think it is. Get back in here. We've got food and water. Come on.
Hearing the proclamation that God's dead is she's not here for your Nietzsche bullshit, so she continues running.
And I would say, Rory, you probably do hear these footsteps beginning to leave the presence further.
Do I still hear the horses?
Oh, yeah. And of course, this chant that seems to have caught itself on the air, mixing with these desert winds.
I didn't like this kind of chanting before, and I'm definitely not liking it now. I'm going to start heading back in. Slowly, I'm going to walk back, not run back, hoping that Clutterbucket changes her mind.
Okay. So, I'm back at the vault. You managed to dig through this parcel of sorts, finding what's good and what's not, filling your bags up the best you can. And it's been some time now, a few minutes now, that your two compatriots have left and not returned. Hearing nothing of them currently. But that humming has definitely, seemingly, gotten a little closer.
I really dislike that that's getting closer.
You think it's coming from outside the vault or through this tunnel?
I'm not sure.
I think we should investigate to see where our compatriots have gone.
That's probably the wisest course of action. In case we can't come back, grab what you can carry, I suppose.
Yes. I will put some of the cans of ravioli and enough water to last at least for the rest of the day into my bag. And I will go into the tunnel.
So you two grab what you can and begin to move off in the direction that Rory and Leo went. And I would say the two groups probably meet about halfway, since Rory's just sort of casually walking. Of course, you're going to hear each other's footsteps as you get closer. So I don't know what sort of tension that might cause or worry, but
I'm going to be very nervous.
Indeed.
And I am going to move as quietly and as close to the wall of the tunnel as I can.
I'm gonna have some hope right here, and I'm just gonna hope that it's them that I'm about to run into. I feel like everything bad is behind me rather than in front of me.
okay. So to further this along, I would say that the two groups, do finally see one another, or at least hear each other, growing the comfort that this part of the party has reconvened. But where is Leo?
Wasn't she with you, Rory? You went to go get her. Did you find her?
Well, you see, what happened was I was at the edge of where the opening is, and I called out, and we had a little bit of a discussion in regards to God, and we have very different views, and the chanting out there was creepy to me at one point, still even more creepy to me now, and so I came back this way hoping that she was going to be right behind me, but she's not. So I think we should grab that food and water and go after her with more supplies on us and just a little bit. I mean, is there anything left back there, or did y'all grab everything?
There's no way we could grab everything.
There's probably about another day's worth of food and water you can grab.
All right. Well,
I will wait here for you.
see, I'll head back and grab what I can. I'm gonna, when I'm grabbing some of the food, I'm gonna go ahead and open up part of one of the MREs. It's an older school one, and I'm gonna take the matches out of there. And I'm going to put them in the same pocket as the cigarettes for later. And I'm going to go ahead and eat anything that doesn't need to be cooked in a little MRE fashion, and drink a little bit of water, get myself hydrated, and leave that open container behind and grab a fresh one and head on to beat them.
Okay. So then we'll go ahead and move on to Leo, out on the broken streets of Vegas currently. And you can hear them. They're not far. A little bit to the east of here, perhaps.
Can I climb up a fire escape to, get on top of a building, see if I can see anything?
You can definitely attempt to do that, yes.
4 dice.
Are we at 4
5?
dice now?
I think we're at
5.
5 still.
Wait, 5.
Oh wait,
We dropped
Is it-
down to 4 at one point. I
Okay,
don't think
we are at 4.
I don't think we have any more truths.
Yeah, I only have 4.
3 1s, no 6s. That just happened. This game
Well,
is cursed.
Is there anything possible for you to use to reroll those ones?
Well, see, my top card is Virtue, which is physical strength, and this was already going to be a challenge because I have a wounded arm. So I don't know if you would. It seems like that is inherently contradictory to the purpose of this action.
I appreciate the narrative part of that, but I think that given the circumstance and the fervor that Leo would be in right now to try to get some clarification of what's going on around her, I could see that adrenaline pumping, and even with that bad arm, perhaps reach out, just to hold on a little longer. So if
So-
you'd like to burn that virtue, you may.
I will burn that Virtue.
Okay.
And I re-roll the 3 1s.
Yes.
1 6. Oh yeah.
You have narrative control.
As Leo reaches the top of this, what was it? Fire escape.
Mhm.
I'll do a small blockbuster that has been repurposed. She runs to the edge of the roof and looks down upon the strip to see if she can see anything. And at this point, I would relinquish control over to you to let you narrate how you want this to go.
Okay. So there's that mess of broken buildings, the skeletons of this once proud city laying strewn everywhere from these earthquakes. And what you see is a cloud of dust slowly moving, maybe 500 yards from you right now to the east. And you see 4 bodies atop these almost ghostly pale steeds heading away from the strip currently. And you're a little bit shocked because you also see way in the distance a light on the horizon. It's very dim, but it seems to have attracted their attention, and they're busting ass that way right now. And from your knowledge of the city itself, having come in here on a flight, I would assume, you know that the Air Force base is off in that direction.
Seeing these steeds and recognizing that they are not what her worst fear was, which is that they were like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. These are clearly something else, otherworldly. And this is not an indication of some kind of completion of revelations. She will feel deflated and slowly walk back and return to Caesar's Palace.
Okay. So the three of you have collected your goods. And you hear that damned humming again, just closer than ever. And as you look up, there's the metal of what remains of this air conditioning. And you can hear a soft thud every once in a while of something banging in the vents above you. Drawing closer.
I'm gonna lean over to Thomas. Should we try and pull it open somewhere? Take a look inside?
Maybe. Maybe. If you want to give it a shot, I suppose we could try.
Look for an area that's either like a little damaged or that has like some kind of opening on it or hatch or something like that,
Okay.
and try and get it open.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a roll.
We're at 1 die.
How many dice are we at? I lost count, honestly.
When you re-rolled the 3, how many?
And only one of them. So
Okay.
we should have 2.
2 dice.
Okay.
All right, and then I have that hope die.
And the die, yep.
2 6s and a 1.
2 6s and a 1. Was the 1 on the hope die, or was it on the other die?
On the hope die.
Okay, so you don't have to worry about removing that. You still have a control of that hope die. So, and you have 1 narrative control. So you let me know what do you find, or how you get it opened, or whatever you'd like to tell me.
Managed to get it open, and someone comes tumbling out of it.
Okay. Do you want to say who or what, or?
Honestly, I don't know. I'd love to make it like suspenseful or something, but I don't know what to add.
Where was this again?
This was somebody was in the vent above us, and I pulled it open, and they came rolling out.
Well, is it a woman or a man?
I think we established it was a little girl's voice.
A little girl's
Yeah.
voice. So
But
yeah, that
But-
doesn't.
we know it's not them, though, because we established that as a truth.
Yes.
There could have been more than one voice.
It's very true, too.
Yeah, let's just say that it's oh wait, weren't you here for a volleyball game?
Softball tournament.
Softball tournament. So sorry. It's one of the softball players.
Bethy! Wait, I'm not with y'all.
Yeah,
I don't know that
so.
this happened.
Nope.
I will reserve my anguish.
So this small, emaciated figure sort of slips from it. And she is just covered in head to toe with just dust and cobwebs. And I think just to take it and twist it a little bit further, because I want to make this a little bit more suspenseful myself, she's just riddled with cuts. It looks like maybe from crawling around and the venting the whole time. Um, so she's got these old dark wounds all over her body, and they're red and sore looking, and her eyes are just wide as she suddenly tumbles forth from this, hitting this wet concrete. And you all gaze down at this figure before you, and you can see these patches all over her that look to be almost like chitinous shell that's begun to form around her flesh and push through, just separating the layers of muscle and skin. And she just stares up at you, Rory, with no real look of acknowledgement. And I think with that little scene, we'll take a little break. Take 5 minutes. We're gonna figure out what the fuck we just saw, and we'll go from there. So we'll be back in a few minutes. Just hang tight, and we'll continue this story. So, Rory, this figure tumbles out in front of you that I just described before break here. This, like, look staring at you.
Hey, hello?
She kind of turns her head, like, back and forth, looking at your fingers as they snap, just entranced almost at the sound before her.
I don't mean to be mean, but I think she's going to be a liability for us.
Thomas
Should
is
we
just looking in horror, like
should we take her back towards the vault? Leave her next to some food and water?
we probably should, and try to get some water in her first, because she might not even have the capability to do so.
I will take her.
You will take her. Let us sense out what sort of reaction this person might have towards you as you take them. So why don't you go ahead and roll me the dice and see what their disposition is towards this.
2 dice now, right?
Yarp.
Yeah.
One, no sixes.
Do you?
My moment is first. I can't do shit.
Oh no. See, I should be kind and take that one that looks like it's kind of flickering, but I'm not going to. Because that was actually one of the last ones that I lit. Six candles, 6 truths, 6 dice. These things are true. The world is dark. Good doctor, could you give us our first truth?
What is happening to this girl is how they are created.
This is how they are created. Hannah.
They never leave their creations alone.
They never leave their creations alone. Since we're on this they kick with these truths, they manifest in a way that's reflective of the person around them. And I say this based on prior truths of the sea and the aquatic nature, or the town of Oslo that we were at last time, and they manifested as this mythology around the town itself. They mimic the fears of those around them and take physical form from that. Virus.
She's almost finished changing.
Okay, RPG Hour, would you like to give us one more truth before the final truth?
I didn't like all these they truths. They kind of put me into a corner here. I'm going to go with where there was one light on in the building across from us,
Mm-hmm.
there's now 3.
Okay. Building nearby. And our final truth.
And we are
We are alive.
alive.
So how many dice do we have now?
We are at
6.
6 dice currently. And if anybody has a moment that's on top right now, feel free to throw it in our chat so we can try to make sure that we get to your moment, okay? Because I can't remember. I don't know where you have it in your stack, and so nobody else does, I don't think, either, since we're not actually around the table and can see what we have. So, I keep forgetting the doctor's name. Helena. Dr. Helena. You lean down to take the woman's or the girl's arm, and you can just feel the crunch of the mix between this carapace almost and the flesh, and you can see the blood and pus just beginning to ooze out from where the two meet in her skin. And she shrieks and lunges out towards you. How does anybody want to react in this?
I will be leaping back away from her.
Okay.
Kind of taken aback and frozen for a second from the loud screeching.
Yeah, that sounds appropriate. So the good doctor, since you are the closest, why don't you go ahead and make me a conflict roll to see what happens.
My dice fucking hate me.
Oh no.
Okay.
I rolled 1 and no 6s.
No. And your moment is on top. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that, 5 candles, 5 dice, and 5 truths. These things are true. The world is dark. So, good doctor.
As I leap back, I trip over something.
Trip over something? Okay.
It's dark. I don't know what.
Hannah.
The displacement of the young girl's body has alerted them to your presence.
Someone has seen Leo re-enter the tunnels from outside and is following them. Virus. This will be our last truth before the final truth.
That someone is armed.
Someone is armed, for better or worse.
That's fantastic, since literally no one else is in our group.
Could have established a truth and had changed that so long ago. So, you, Dr. Helena, jump back away from this girl as she begins to scream and she lunges towards you. And your foot gets caught on something. You tumble back against the hard concrete. And you hear a snap of something. And I'm going to be kind and let you decide what that's going to be.
I have fallen, then I tripped. I fractured my ankle.
Ooh. Ooh. Okay. So, Rory and Thomas, you sort of jump up and see Helena just crack against the floor, and you just hear a shrill snapping sound as her ankle twists underneath her. And this girl turns, looking at the both of you feverishly. And she's almost tugging at her hair, and you can see her being to like pull strips of it out of her head. So these long dirty blonde locks just begin to rip from her scalp. You sort of see these bloody patches form on her head. Her teeth are gnashing. And this, where you'd heard this very smooth and calming sound of her before with these nursery rhymes, just becomes this guttural, almost demonic chant that just reverberates from her lungs. And you can hear far in the distance answering echoes.
We need to get the hell out of here.
But which direction?
The fastest way out would be that tunnel, I suppose. We've got to try to find a way to get Helena up now. Like, trying to... Thomas is going to try to, like, skirt around the side of the crazy girl on the floor now and, like, get across the hall to Helena and try to help her up.
So is the girl doing anything else?
Currently, she's not. It's almost as if she's giving out a cry of warning or an alarm.
I would like to try and push her into the vault while Thomas is pulling Helena away, and then close the vault door.
Okay.
As Thomas is pulling me away, I look down to see what I tripped over.
Okay. So let's go and have our conflict go first. Because if for some reason this fails, maybe we can establish a truth as to what you tripped over by these morbid mofos that are your party members. Rory, you have 5 dice and a hope die, I believe.
You can do it!
So no 6s, 2 1s, but one of those is my hope die.
Okay. Do you have any trait or anything you'd like to try to burn to reroll that one to attempt to not make this a failure?
I don't know how I would. I already feel like my actions are generous in trying to help Thomas to save Helena and to isolate this person that is basically drawing them to us. I don't know if that's too much of a stretch, but that's what I would.
I wouldn't say it's a stretch at all. No.
So yeah, I will burn my
Okay.
virtue.
Okay. Let's try to re-roll that one and see if we can get a success.
Both ones, or just the one that wasn't the hope die?
Both ones.
One success, and the hope die is a 1 again.
Okay, so if you don't lose your hope die, no worries there.
Your hope die hates you.
Okay.
I know it rolled so well earlier.
I have 5 dice currently now.
Yep.
It's a good thing I'm not playing this game because I've rolled terrible tonight. 3 1s, a 2, and a 3. Okay, so you have 1 narrative control, Rory. What happens here?
So we managed to get Helena up and get the girl into the vault. But as we're closing, one of our 2 lovers realizes that it's their person on the floor.
Oh, shit. Oh.
Dr. Helena, you tripped over your fiance.
Oh, that's fucked up. Love it. Helena, would you like to live your moment out?
Roll your moment.
Yes, please.
Okay, you have 5 dice. Oh, that's horrible. It's so mean. I love it.
1, 6, 2 1s.
1, 6, 2 1s. Okay, so you have succeeded. So you get your hope die. How many 1s did you have? I'm sorry.
2.
2. So you're down to 3 dice total. But you have got your moment. So give me an idea, mixed with the pain of your throbbing, broken ankle currently, you're drug past the body. What takes control of Helena right now?
His body is almost unrecognizable. What is left is just the torso. He is recognizable by the pocket watch that he keeps in his waistcoat. It was a family heirloom. All across his body are slash marks and bite marks. And it is absolutely horrifying. But I don't really have much of a chance to mourn because, oh my god, my ankle is fucking killing me.
Go ahead and take your hope die. You all managed to get this whatever it is at this point into the vault, and Thomas, you are watching this figure continuously throwing herself against the vault door from the monitor from before, and you can just see her splitting her skull open with it, each just slam against it, and it seems as if nothing is letting her perish in the moment, even as her neck is broken and laying to the side and flopping with each press. She continues ravenously trying to escape. Leah, you've begun to walk back to the tunnel, if I'm not mistaken, from outside.
Yeah, I would assume she's probably in the tunnel now, like.
And what you would hear is a shrill cry, followed by shortly another shrill cry. And the echoing of that, what's almost whispered in your head when you pray, has been answered from all around the city itself, it seems. But you're not just hearing it in your head, you're hearing it audibly around you.
Leo is going to shout out into the cavern. Why? Well, sorry. Got my accent there. Why have you forsaken me? She will just cry into her hands, so despondent and sad, utterly sad at what appears to be a lack of faith.
Okay. And I wouldn't think that anyone else would hear that but you and whatever else is around you. The alarming sound that echoed down the tunnel has definitely died off now. More quiet. You definitely still hear the answering calls growing ever closer. The rest of you have decided to. Are you leaving up the tunnel now?
Yes, that was what we were aiming for.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you sort of have. I would assume someone has the doctor held up on a shoulder or something.
Yeah.
Walking step by painful step from the scene. And
It might honestly be both me and Rory.
It very well could be, yeah. But you see ahead of you a figure, probably kneeled down, and soft sobbing sounds ahead of you.
Oh, what now?
Maybe there was somebody else in those vents?
I certainly hope not. I would rather like to not deal with another one of those right now.
Well,
Like, I'm assuming we're talking while we're moving forward still.
oh yeah, no, if I wanted to stop, I'd say so, and I really don't want to stop right now.
Thomas would like as much space between him and the creepy, weird, head-banging, broken-necked thing that is in the vault. Even though Thomas is fairly sure that nothing could possibly break through that vault, he does not feel like taking his chances.
All right, so I've got an idea, and it's not something that either of us are going to like. So, rock, paper, scissors for which one of us is going to walk up ahead and try and get a look, while the other one continues helping the doctor go forward. So we don't want to stop, but we don't want to walk into anything too bad.
I'll just go. Just hold on to her.
Are you
All right.
trying to be quiet?
Trying to, like, whisper hush, yeah. Just...
As you're moving forward by yourself, Thomas.
I'm going to try to be quiet, at least as best he can.
Okay. Go ahead and give me those 5d6 I believe you all have now.
No, we have 3 now.
3. Sorry, my bad.
2 6s, 1 1.
2 6s, 1 1. Okay. Hey, I finally won narrative control of something. I should have said this like the last 3 episodes. If I win narrative control, you guys have the option to darken a candle to take back control if you like. I don't normally think people like to do that kind of stuff, but you have that option.
I don't know, Hannah. You think I should?
I'm glad we have that option, but not right now. At some
Yeah.
point, though, maybe
At
when
some point, maybe.
Okay.
when we're close to the end.
So, Thomas, you slowly move forward. Your history in security somehow relives itself within you, and you have found the quietest way to move through this wreckage of broken cement and rebarb that's before you. And what you see ahead of you is actually the figure of Leo Clutterbucket, kneeled on the floor, crying her eyes out ahead of you. And what you also see not far behind her is a figure standing with what appears to be a rifle, a shotgun. You're not quite sure what it is. Some sort of weapon in their hands.
Are they pointing it at Leo?
Currently
Or-
not. Currently, no, they are not. They seem to be moving with an equal slow gait as you are.
I'm assuming that there's like random debris and stuff around to grab.
Absolutely.
Going to grab a bit of it
Mm-hmm.
and kind of, like start kind of slowly walking out. Just kind of having it like on the side where they wouldn't be able to see.
Okay.
Just kind of walking forward.
Okay. So making your presence known.
Mm-hmm.
Leo, you see finally through the haze of burning tears in your eyes mixed with the dirt that's collected on your face after so many days. Almost looking like you've been wearing makeup and it's just running down your cheeks at this point. You see the familiar figure of Thomas slowly moving into your near peripheral. And Thomas, you see the figure slowly raising whatever weapon is in their hand in one of your all's directions.
What are you wanting?
Leo will look up at you, confused,
I'm staring past you.
seeing that she will turn to look and rise quickly. And if I can use my vice, my violent temper, at now believing that there is no God or God has left us, abandoned us, and now being hunted in a tunnel, she will charge.
Okay, well, you don't have to burn your vice just yet, thankfully. but using it to fuel your actions,
Yeah.
you rush forward.
With 3 dice? Are we at 3?
2.
I missed that apparently. Okay. All right. A 6 and a 2. Okay.
Victory!
Telling you, man, ice cream dice. Baddest
Best
dice in the
dice.
world.
Okay,
Best.
you have one narrative control, so tell me, what unfolds before you?
I relinquish narrative control.
Okay,
Uh-oh.
so you rush forward in this fervor, this anger-fueled drive that just finds your shoulder meeting the chest of another individual, and there's a oof sound as you strike them down. The gun goes off instantly, and there's a just crack that fills the entire hallway, the sound. And you land upon a soft body of a very elderly woman. And you see her eyes have rolled back from her head, striking the stone with such strength that you've mustered. She lays unmoving with what appears to be a double-barreled shotgun, now expended of cartridges, next to her.
Well, I'm gonna go and check to make sure that Leo is okay, because I just heard the gunshot and couldn't really see what was happening.
Truth. And of course, Helena and Rory, you would also hear this gunshot just shaking the tunnel ahead of you.
Try and move a little more quickly without injuring the doctor.
Oh,
Scuttledy.
I've walked on fractured ankles before. I can do it again. I can hobble.
Okay.
Hobble.
That's awful heroic and brave of you to assume. I think we like dice to decide. Let's just see if you make it there or really fuck up your ankle in the process.
We have 2 dice, right?
You have 2
Yep.
dice.
2 dice! 2 dice.
We've got nowhere near the Air Force Base.
What was that?
6, no ones.
6, no ones. Do you have control?
Well, it is excruciatingly painful. I do manage to put a little weight onto my ankle so that I am able to hobble faster alongside Rory to investigate the sound of the gunshot.
So the two of you come upon the scene. I would say Thomas is probably huddled over Leo currently. And I can just see her just overwhelmed right now with this anger, this violence that courses through her. And you're focused on Leo, is that correct?
I was going to make sure that Leo was not specifically like shot, and then try to look at the other one.
Okay. So you're helping her off of this body, essentially. She's breathing heavily, and she doesn't appear to be harmed. And you look down upon the body. Why don't you go ahead and give me a roll, and we'll see what we see.
I mean,
'Cause
if you so choose.
Yeah, because I think this is a good point to insert some conflict.
Yeah. No 6, no 1.
That's just an outright failure. Four candles, 4 dice, and 4 truths. These things are true. The world is dark. That's our first truth.
The elderly woman is Tom's wife.
It's Tom's wife. RPG Hour. When you get a moment. What
So
is our-
sorry.
No, you're good. Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna say. So we said that the gun itself is expended of shells.
Yeah.
We'll say that we know at least one of them has been expended. If you would
Okay.
like to declare a truth that the other hasn't, we can do that. Or she has.
I'll
one
say
per
that there's
person.
one shell left.
Okay. One shell left in the shotgun. Meri, would you like to give our final truth before the final truth?
The woman is not dead. She has been knocked unconscious.
The woman is not dead, but unconscious. And our final truth.
And we are
And we are
You're
alive.
alive. So your dice pool is back up to 4. And Thomas, is it time for your moment to be lived out?
It is in fact time for my moment.
Would you like to try?
Sure, this is the best odds I'm gonna have.
Okay.
No 6, 1 1.
Unfortunately, that is a failed roll.
It's-
3 candles and 3 truths and 3 dice. These things are true. The world is dark. Thomas, what else is true?
They are very near.
They are. They are very near. Rory.
Y'all are awesome, amazing people, but we're not gonna hear it when they're near.
They are silent. Stoppers. And our final truth.
And we are alive.
And we are alive.
We're
Not for
down-
very much longer.
we're down to 3 candles, which means there's a very good chance that any further conflict fails could result in deadly consequences. Thomas, you look down upon the face of your wife, and while she isn't dead, even you can tell just from the indent in her head that she'll most likely never wake up again from this. And your heart sinks deep, deep into your chest as you realize that she's alive, but she'll never hear your words ever again. Not like you had hoped.
Thomas kind Thomas kind of like takes a second to breathe deep and try to like calm himself. Not to very much avail. And he's kind of just staring at Delilah. Fist kind of starts to clench and just shake. Picks up the shotgun and starts walking forward.
Okay.
After making sure there's a shell in it still.
Yeah, so I'd say you have this normal demeanor of Thomas, who is sort of reserved and proper, and you just see him just pop open this shotgun, check the shell in it, slam it back, and just begins to walk forward away from you all.
I pull out that pack of cigarettes, light 2 of them at the same time, catch up with Thomas and offer him the other.
He's just angrily
I fall for-
walking.
I fall forward because no one is here to hold me up.
Okay. I think I'm okay.
Lord almighty. Okay.
Oh yeah, as Rory tries to like hand him the cigarette, he kind of like bashes it off and is just shaking angrily. Because I'm assuming you kind of like went to touch the shoulder or something, as opposed to just trying to like walk and put it in his mouth.
It would be more of like holding it up like towards in front of you, but it probably would have brushed your shoulder with my arm, not just like shoved it in your face for sure. So
Yeah, as I say, when it like, or when the initial touch happens, just don't touch me. Oh, just grabs it and puffs deep. Like takes almost half the cig at once. Just nothing like a
Well.
last smoke, right?
maybe we should at least go back for those 2. If this is it.
For the one.
Which one?
Thomas just starts walking back. Kind of holsters, or like holds the shotgun.
Which one? Wait.
He's not answering you.
Hold on. I've seen a movie like this before. This is not a wounded animal. There's only one shot left. Let's not go this route, please. Please.
Don't worry. This shot's for one of those fucking things.
And I can imagine that you guys probably made it too far away from the group at this rate.
Probably not.
I'm kind of curious what is going through Leo's head right now. Over top of this body that's shallowy breathing. And this like little river of crimson that's sort of draining from the back of her head.
At this point, I wouldn't have character knowledge that she's Thomas's wife, right?
Nope.
Leo will just put her hand over her mouth and her nose. And just wait.
I don't think it would probably take too long. The good doctor, do you have anything to try to attempt to do while this is happening on your broken ankle?
I will try to get off the ground from falling forward and into a more comfortable position.
So you watch as Leo just sort of snuffs the last of this person's life away.
I don't think
You.
snuffs is an appropriate term in this capacity. I don't think I'm snuffing the life. This woman was not going to survive. But sure. Fine.
You're mercy killing then.
Sure. I like that.
Even Corey agrees it's snuffing. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, it is candles.
So we have Thomas and we have Rory, who are slowly making their way back to the group. Each of them sort of haloed in this cigarette smoke, this pale white smoke that envelops their heads. And you once again see the body of your wife, Thomas, now perished before you.
Just is not saying a word to Leo whatsoever and just walks over to Helena and is like, come on, we've got to move.
Elena will slowly pick herself up and walk around on her good foot
So,
and will take the vodka out of her pack and drink some to dull the pain.
That looks like some delicious water there. Very good potato water.
It is indeed. Would you like some?
Absolutely. And it's gonna be like a sip and then just like a slight little chug. And I'll grab a second cigarette and light it with the one that's going out.
So what is your all's plans from this point now? What?
Right now, Tom's plan is to try to calm down enough to not kill Leo.
Okay, hold on. Point of order. I don't know how you would have known that I killed her and that she didn't just die, because it's not like this is a well-lit cavern.
I was about to say, he doesn't know that she's not, or he doesn't know that she's dead, per se. But you're the reason why she won't ever wake up again. That's what his
Yeah,
knowledge
I'm
is
pretty
as of
sure
right
that
now.
the shit that caused the world to go dark is why your wife's never gonna wake up again, bro. So, like, I mean, you didn't know who she was either in the cavern. But it's okay. As long as, I mean, I don't know.
I know. So I'd say, Thomas, it's not rational per se. Thomas sees you're the one who tackled her and cracked the skull, but that's just where he is. He knows that you didn't know, and he had no way of knowing either, and that's why he's desperately trying to maintain rationality and not do it. So yeah, he's just trying to walk and find one of these things to shoot.
Okay. I guess my question is, are you all deciding to hole up here? Are you deciding to go out to the streets? Are you going to try to make to the airfield? What's the plan here?
Thomas would probably suggest trying to go to the airfield because it's the only place that they know of per se. Because he hasn't been outside to see the lights.
No, you have not.
I'm definitely going to also. I'll start walking towards the opening. I'd rather die out in the open than in a cramped hole like this. Who wants to join me?
Leo will just silently follow you.
I don't have much of a choice, do I?
You have to walk where they walk, huh? Okay. So you all now have finally made it out to the streets of Las Vegas, or what was once Las Vegas. Again, far to the east, you do see the lights of the airfield. Not far, but it would be one hell of a track taking the good doctor with you. Definitely slow you down dramatically, unless you find some sort of transportation of sorts. And across the street from you, it looks to be some old broken down hotel now. You do see 3 lights from the windows. But the sound of what you assume is them has stopped, and it is eerily quiet. Just the sound of your own breathing and the pound of your hearts in your ears is all that you hear around you.
Well,
Leo will take this opportunity to tell them what she saw earlier when she climbed the building.
Sounds like the 4 horsemen.
I don't believe those were the 4 horsemen. I don't believe the 4 horsemen would be riding like that. I think there would be chariots that would be like it's described in Revelation. This is not like that.
Well, what else would you call this other than an apocalypse?
This is damnation. We've already been judged.
maybe it's like that video game. The mist, the hills, silence. Maybe we just all did bad stuff and this is our punishment. I don't know what I did. But I'm pretty sure everyone here, this is some kind of damnation for y'all. Maybe it's just something y'all did wrong.
certainly haven't done anything wrong.
I
We've
just
all
think we
done
got
things
invaded.
wrong.
I think we just got invaded by aliens or something, or the government. Some kind of government. Something went wrong. That's what my money's on. Well, money's not worth it. So, bottle of water says that we find out the government's behind it when we get to the airbase.
We get to
never
the
make it.
airbase.
We'll never make it to the airbase.
Well, we can at least try.
So I suppose the big question is once we get out of the tunnel, are there any cars?
There are 3d6, which would be wonderful to help the situation out and figure that out for you.
No ones, no sixes.
Two candles. 2 dice and 2 truths. The world is dark. And would you like to give the final truth of the game there?
There is no car.
There is no car. Your hearts sink as you look around. There's nothing within your eyesight that even looks remotely drivable. There's crushed skeletons of what might have been vehicles at some point. Definitely nothing that's drivable. And as you're staring feverishly around, trying to find some escape from this fucking winter desert hell that's around you, you look off to the east and begin to see a light booming from the ground near the airstrip. And you see it like a fire lifting off straight up.
Rocket Man.
Even though it is futile, anytime there is a car that's even like, not, even though logically there's no way that it could work, if it still has like 4 tires, I'm still gonna like try the door, like try turning it over. Like I know it's not gonna work, but
Right.
like I'm worried about trying to hobble someone all the way over. So I'm gonna do that. But I will keep my eyes out for like a downed medical vehicle, ambulance, or some kind of rescue vehicle. Might have something in the back, just in case there's something that we could maybe use.
Okay.
Because I don't think we have anything on us that we could use to help her.
Okay, you have 2 dice and your hope die.
No ones, no sixes.
Hmm.
We have 1 die, 1 candle, and 1 truth. And that truth is the world is dark. Rory, you rush towards an ambulance, what was the remains of one, and tear open the back, looking, hoping for something that you can help your downed party member with. And you don't even see it coming. Something lashes out at you. And before you realize it, your back is hitting the street mixed with that sand, in the cold air as you see this thing's face race with yours. And its maw is open and dripping with some sort of black ichor that stings your face.
I take a final drag of the cigarette, blow it in its face. Let's get this over with, baby.
Okay. And you all watch as a split second, it seems like, as this thing has torn into Rory, and it is just a fountain of blood and flesh scattered across the streets, just bone ripped from the skeleton, and the innards of his body splayed out in moments, seconds before you. As this chitinous creature looks up from his bloody feast and stares at all three of you and begins to sing this terrible melody. And it has the rhythm of that old nursery rhyme still carried in it, but in a voice that just sounds unearthly, demonic, as if it came from hell itself.
Shoot it.
Yeah, we're going to try to shoot it.
You've got one die to try, my friend.
Yep. Take your shot. That's a no.
Okay. So you let loose the last cartridge that you have of this shotgun in this thing's direction, and your hands are shaking and you're so scared. You're so frightened by just watching Rory ripped apart before you. And this thing skitters across the ground with such speed and such ferocity. And in moments, it's just standing in front of you, Thomas. What are your last thoughts?
I'll see you soon, Delilah.
Thomas, there's a moment of pain as you feel this thing's hands dig into your chest, just gripping into you. And there's that moment of peace as your eyes close and you feel a warmth envelop you. And you can feel her arms around you as if one last time. But the rest of you see what remains of Thomas as this thing just wrenches from side to side, and you see his body split in half. His exposed ribs cracking just all the way up. And it just unceremoniously throws the body aside.
It does this. I would like to hit it over the head with a vodka bottle.
Okay.
One 611.
Okay, so what happens?
I use my paranoia to re-roll that one because I really don't want to die, and this thing's gonna fucking kill me.
Well, we have one die total. You have a hope die, right?
Yeah, the hope die was the 6.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, go ahead. Hold on to hope a little longer.
That turned into a 6.
Okay. I have 2 more dice to try to get a 6 on, and I do not. Jeez almighty. Okay. Tell me what happens. should never be a player in this game. So what's this look like when you're hurling or smashing this bottle of vodka on this thing?
As I hit it, the vodka bottle smashes over its head,
Mm-hmm.
but nothing happens to the creature other than it turns its gaze upon Helena.
Okay. So you just sort of distracted enough to where, even perhaps with some intelligence that resides within it, that it sees you as less of a threat as you weakly pommel it, and it sees that broken, twisted ankle, and looks over to this healthier, stronger Leo.
Run, Leo!
Leo will put her hand in the air and scream out to it. And feel free to interrupt me when it's done listening to me, because like that's totally gonna make sense. But she will shout out, "Do not be afraid. I am the first and the last. I am the living one. I was dead. Now look, I am alive forever, ever. I hold the keys of death and Hades." Imagine that in her accent that I've been using this whole time and I totally forgot about.
I hold the key of Hades.
I hold the key of Hades.
You shout your words out to the air, and you hear it sort of resounding against the buildings itself. And this thing slithers around you almost like a snake with its chitinous body just pressing up against you, and you can feel its hard shell against your flesh. And it looks deep into your eyes, and you can hear it blaring against your eardrums from inside your head. And it asks, "Do you want to see true paradise?"
Yes.
Helena, you watch as Leo is enveloped by this thing. Its chest and its stomach open wide, and you just see this claw-like appendages sprout from it and envelop Leo and draw her into it. And you can hear Leo's laughter and her joy as this thing just imbibes her into its essence.
While it's doing that, Helena is going to be trying to crawl away.
Okay. You dig your hands into the dust, slowly dragging your body away from the scene, and overhead you hear the shrillness of something coming from the sky itself, and it is just alive with fire above you. And you witness this creature beginning to rush upon you.
I try to crawl faster.
Okay. Go ahead and roll for me. If you'd like, you can accept your fate.
Not a chance I'm accepting that. No 6, no 1.
You begin to crawl across the street and somehow manage to slip down into a storm drain. You just are breathing so hard and you're so scared. Your legs are so full of pain. And you hear this thing just clawing at the bricks high above you, ripping them free from the streets with such ease. And that's when you feel the flames reach you. And all around you, you are surrounded by blistering winds. And you already begin to feel the layers of your flesh being cooked off the bone one by one by one. Helena, what are your final thoughts in this time?
I'm just screaming.
And over the city of Las Vegas, or what was once Las Vegas, I should say, an explosion of nuclear proportions just scatters the remains of the entire city and of every creature, them or otherwise, into dust across the entire scape. And the world itself begins to crack with earthquakes as they realize the moments of last resistance that have pushed back against them, trying to wipe them out, even if it means their own devastation. The last fight of humanity fails with such futility. And the earth opens beneath them and swallows them up. And there's nothing but coldness and darkness of oblivion. And that is the last thing that we know of the existence of humans upon the earth itself. And the world is dark forevermore. Thank you all so much for coming tonight to play with me.
Thanks for having us.
It was a
Thank
lot of
you.
fun.
It was fun. We're all dead.
Everyone is dead at this point. I was really hoping you all to get you to the airfield and give you this decision to make, whether you wanted to annihilate the entirety of the earth to get rid of them, but we didn't quite make it there.
The dice had other things in mind.
So, if you all would be so kind as to, maybe we'll go in the same order we went last time and give everybody one last shout out about who you are, what you got going on, where they can find you, and anything else you'd like to say about tonight's session or otherwise.
Hi, I'm Meri. I play Katiana on the Spicy Dragon Roll channel every Friday at 8:30 Eastern. And in my spare time, I try to write and usually fail. I can be found on Twitter at Darth Vodkas. I stream like maybe twice a year. Also Darth Vodkas Bates. I'm Darth Vodkas everywhere. So if you want to find me and hit me up, that I'm always down to play RPGs.
Thank you so much for coming once again for this. Hannah, my love, would you like to say something?
Well, I intentionally didn't talk this way because I just didn't want to make your last game of 10 Candles something you truly hated. But Thank you for entertaining me for 3 weeks playing Tin Candles. That's been really bomb. You can find me on Twitter at Stop That Old Woman. I don't stream anything. I play games on other people's channels like this right here. I write stuff. You can find it online. Yeah, that's pretty much the extent of it. But big thanks to Josh for running 4 weeks of Tin Candles just after I randomly texted you and asked you to do that because that was very nice of you. So I appreciate that.
No problem. I'm glad you brought it to my attention. I've had a lot of fun running it. RPG Hour.
Mr. RPG Hour. You can find us on pretty much any podcatcher. RPG Hour, all one word. Launching very soon is Our Adventures, where Mrs. RPG Hour takes films, POC, LGBTQ plus folks through a round robin of one shots, a little different than what we do on RPG Hour. And then also launching soon is Star Wars Legacies. It's going to be an ongoing campaign using a fan version of the old D6 Star Wars.
Love it.
Hi, I'm Virus. I stream occasionally over on twitch.tv/Virus the Mad Bard. You can also find me on Twitter at Virus the Bard, where occasionally I will just let people request me to sing a couple bars of songs so that you can torture yourselves with my lyrical skills.
Wonderful. And I have been Saevrick. I've been your game master and your best friend this evening. You can find me on Twitch, obviously here on at Saevrick, Twitter at Saevrick, and that's pretty much it. Also on itch.io, however you want to pronounce it. I'm also on there with my love letter to Silent Hill Echoes solo RPG game. If you want to go check it out, you don't have to buy it. You can get it for free if you want to, if you just don't want to pay for it, which I totally respect. Otherwise, I don't have anything else really except for one little closing statement. Is there anything that you guys want to say before I do this and we end tonight's session?
Thank you for the fun.
Thank you for coming.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate it. With build up to this game, I took some opportunities to go out there and watch other Tin Candles people and to see how they handled things. And I took an important, what I feel is important step from watching Ivan Van Norman, who ran Tin Candles. And at the end of his series, he sort of made a statement about the game itself and what we should take from it. And if you would all be so kind as to indulge me, I wrote something short. If you don't mind just letting me get this out, because I feel it's really necessary to understand not just this game, but how it pertains to us. Are we all cool with that? Awesome.
Go for it.
So I'm sorry if this is cheesy or whatever, but
You do know that I live on cheesy.
You
game
do.
stuff, right?
True. So during the course of this, we've talked and we've explored probably the darkest depths of our emotion during the telling of these stories. And while the acceptance of these deadly fates have obviously been an overarching finality that's bound them all together, I feel it's necessary that we discuss the real virtue that these stories have lent us in these last few weeks, and that is that we always have to hold on to hope. We are, especially now, surrounded in this world in which there feels like there is no hope. There's despair and hatred and these lost souls that are just full of bitter emotions towards one another. And it's here where people, they turn on one another and they consume one another, and they make this world into something so fucking ugly. And I feel like we are at a point where we're standing at the precipice of the night, which as we've always been told in any movie, it's always darkest before the dawn. But with hope and conviction and always questioning what's going on around us, we can learn from these days prior, and we can live for today, and we can have faith that there is a better tomorrow, and turn each of these opportunities in the night to move towards the stars. Just thank you all so much for spending these last few weeks with us and letting us tell these stories. And I hope that you've gotten something out of them like I have. So with that, that's all I have left. We'll see you all around. Thanks so much. Good night.